So network automation is a new way to approach to networking. The network in the last 10 years, let's say, evolved drastically. So we moved from managing just 10, 15 routers or network devices to hundreds of them. Obviously, the workforce needed to manage these data centers with hundreds of thousands of devices was unimaginable. At some point, networking people had to start to think how to manage these data centers, these devices, and that's where the network automation came in action. So network automation, in a short version, is basically grabbing all those tools that are out there, being used from software engineers or DevOps guy, and readapt for a network purpose. One of the main reasons why the company started to look at automation is the operational cost, the operational expense. I'll give you a practical example. 300 devices, okay? You want to change just a piece of configuration, okay? If you don't have automation in place, you need for a person that at least 2 weeks has to work to update those configurations and test them and make sure they work as expected, okay? With network automation, or with a week worth of coding or implementation, you can have a tool that can update those 300 devices within a few minutes, and you can reuse that tool for as many situations you want. So you can understand how the cost is gonna reduce drastically, okay? That's one of the benefits. Another one is resiliency, okay? So whenever we think about network issues, like something goes down or packet drops or whatever, you have a monitor system where you see the problem, you log into the router, you start to do your troubleshooting, and then you start to take action, like, I don't know, shut down the interface or interface on the port channel, whatever is required to fix the problem. With automation, you can implement with the tools that are out there some sort of smart intelligence that can let the network adapt to the situation. So you don't have to be there and constantly look at the graphs and see if something goes wrong, but you have like an agent, okay, an intelligence that does that for you, and whatever is happening, it takes action, okay? One of the basic examples for circuit provisioning or maintenance, you know that as, I don't know, at 10 o'clock or maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning is more realistic example. You have a maintenance, so like 10 minutes before automatically you switch your routing protocol toward another circuit. And then when the maintenance is finished, you do your test automated, you switch back to the old circuit. Another thing is monitoring, that is with network automation you can implement monitoring system ad hoc that fulfill your need of your network. So you don't have to buy custom proprietary software, you don't have to learn how to use it or pay licenses, but you can build your ad hoc telemetry monitoring system. Yeah, so this is one of the biggest concerns at the beginning where the company start to explore automation, because one of famous sentences, from great power become great responsibility. Obviously, when you push an upgrade or configuration change to 300 devices, you can break 300 devices in just one click. Fortunately, from DevOps world, there is the concept of CI/CD pipelines. So you implement, as a network automation engineer, a process made of different steps where you test your change. You see the result of your change in a dev environment. If the result is what you expected, you push in a staging environment where you can test your change across more devices compared to the dev environment. If all the tests are fine, you start to think to push in production. After that, you push in production, and you have your change applied. Obviously, it sounds quite easy in this way, but behind the scenes there are some smart things like make sure that the change you apply giving the right result. So you apply a change, you see if the result that you want is what you expected. If it's not, you must have a rollback plan. Okay, so even if you test as much as you can, as you wanted, there have always been some maybe device somewhere that it doesn't reflect your scenario, or maybe it's something different. So the change probably is going to break that device. That's a good point, actually. And it's something I personally have experienced. So build something that you think, okay, is working great, is working as expected, and then you realize that there is something behind that you didn't take into account, and you'll find out later. So in order to avoid this situation, what you want to do, you want to create a piece of automation, a piece of software, and then you want to monitor the performances of that software, the result of the software, so you can understand if you're missing something. For example, in telemetry, it's quite easy to have false positive or false negative. So you want to monitor, for example, your probes. If you have probes for the telemetry, if they are healthy, if they behave as expected. Okay, so yes, there are risks, but there is approach also to reduce these risks. It takes time in terms of play a lot with the tools that are out there, to write and test, to develop, see how it works, fail, retry again. So it takes a lot of time before to get all the skills and the knowledge that you need in order to have a proper automation system in place. For a network point of view, for a network engineer, is a quite difficult path at the beginning, because it's like a slightly shift of focus, because obviously from the networking, where you have like a blueprint configuration, you have certification that they tell you how to do things, how they work. In automation, it's like a more wild jungle where you have to find how things works. And so the suggestion is to be hungry, to attend meetups, be in touch with people, see how the others are doing. That's one of the beautiful things of automation and coding, that is everything is open source, it's community support, so you can raise your hand and say, oh guys, I have this problem, how can I do it? And you'll have tons of people. So having an open mind is the best approach to tackle the network automation in the proper way, in my opinion.